Hi everyone, it's Andy back with part 2 of my Slimming World Struggles series. If you remember, we did the first one last Sunday and I explained I was going to split it up into 3 videos because there was so much stuff to cover. So if you haven't seen the first one, then take a look back from last Sunday and part 1 is there. We covered some good points in there. I think we covered alcohol, speed food, a couple of other things. Good little video, some really positive responses, which is great. So we're going to move on to part 2. Every now and again I'm going to look this way because I've got a little list of the comments that I got and what people wanted to talk about. So the first couple, I think I can kind of put these two together because quite a few people said that they find it hard to remember why they got started, because if your Slimming World journey's taken a while or it's taken a little longer than you anticipated, some people kind of lose sight of why they started, and that ties in quite nicely with another point that people saying that they're struggling to keep focused. So if you remember, a few videos back I did a video called 5 tips for success on Slimming World, and the number 1 point was the reason that you get started, and the reason should only ever be you. So when you're struggling to remember why you started for you. That should be the only reason. So you started this for you. This is the time to be selfish, to think about yourself, to put yourself ahead of other people. This is something that you are doing for you. So you need to be selfish. So that's you know, when you're struggling to remember why you started, that should be the reason. But also in that 5 tips video, the second thing, because everyone was going, yeah, that's a good enough reason to get started, you know, is one of these other things, and I said that the reasons like trying to fit into a wedding dress, or losing weight for a holiday, or doing it for your kids, or because you don't want to get ill, you know, they're not really reasons, they're motivators. So I think a lot of people tended to agree that the only reason you should ever start is for you, and the rest are things to keep you motivated. So these are the things that keep you focused. So some of the things that I do that help me keep focused is on my phone I set 6 alarms every day, and they'll say a different range of things, you know, like you'll notice on Instagram everything that I do always says hashtag never quit. So one of the alarms will say never quit, one of them will say you're awesome. It will just remind me things like my kids, my health, you know, just things that remind me why I'm doing. And what I tend to do, and what you should do if you want to do this for yourselves, is set the alarms when you think it's going to be your bad time of the day. So say for instance your bad time is you're at work, it's 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, you have a cup of tea, that's the kind of time when you really want to eat a biscuit or a cake or something. Set your alarm to go off at that time of the day. If it's after the kids have gone to bed and you get time to sit down and have a cup of tea, put your feet up, catch up with your TV programs, that's the time when you might be more inclined to eat something that you shouldn't. Set your alarm for that. Set one for when you've not been up long to help you get kick-started the day, and set one around the time you would normally go to bed, just to, you know, get you to sleep with a nice positive kind of feeling before you go to sleep. One of the other things you can try is write those things on a list. You know, so the things that keep you motivated, whether it's you're doing it for your kids, you don't want to get, you know, sick, you don't want to, or you don't want to get, like me, you don't want to get any sicker than you already are, you don't want to get any more health problems. Whatever your motivators are, you know, if you've booked a family holiday to Disneyland, you know, and you want to get on some of the rides, so you need to lose some weight, whatever it is, because everybody's list of motivators are going to be different. So whatever that list is, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, several pieces of paper, and put them around the house in places that you're going to see them. So put one on your cupboard door where the food is, put one on the fridge where the food is, put one on the back of your front door so you see it every day when you leave the house. Carry one around with you. If you know, I remember reading a story somewhere about a guy that I think he travelled away somewhere, and there was it was a third world country, and this person was giving away stones, and they were nice stones, and the guy said, well, why are you giving me a stone? And they said, oh, this is it's a lucky stone, and you put it in your pocket, and you know, every time you think life's not going so well, just remember, you know, have a little feel on your lucky stone and carry it with you everywhere you go. So it was just a nice little thing, and he said, you know, he didn't have to give any money for that. These people were just giving him these stones just as a nice thing to do, to carry this stone around to remind you that, you know, some of us in life are more fortunate than others. That's a nice little thing. So carry this around, carry a little list around, or put it on your phone, or make one of your alarms, show you the whole list of the points or whatever it is you want to do. But just put these things where you can see them all the time. I want to try and fashion something that I can put into the air grate on the car, so I can always have it there when I'm driving, and always see it. Just put them in places where you can always see them, and make sure that it's a list of the things that motivate you to carry on. And these things will keep you motivated. You just need to keep reminding yourself why you're doing this. Everybody's doing it for a different set of motivation. My motivation will be different to yours, and yours will be different to someone else's, and that's the great thing, because everybody's motivated by something different. But the one thing that we're all motivated by is the fact that we want to lose weight. So that's the main motivation for us, is the fact that we don't want to be the size that we are, the shape that we are, in the health state that we are. So we've got some similar motivation, but then other people's motivations will be different. So put those lists everywhere, set those alarms. Do it now while you think about it. Set the alarms while you're sitting listening to the rest of me rambling on about nonsense. Set your alarms. So someone else said, because as you know, I suffer with depression and anxiety. So someone and a lot of other people I know suffer with depression and anxiety. So a lot of people said, how do I cope with the bad days? The days when the depression and anxiety really kicks in, and I really don't want to do anything, and it's difficult. I'm not going to lie and say it's easy and I've got a foolproof system to kind of sort this out, because I haven't got a foolproof system, and some days I'll manage to do okay, and other days I won't. But that's just one of the things that I need to deal with. It's, depression and anxiety isn't something that you can cure overnight. It's just not something that you can, you have these people that have this snap out of it mentality. Oh, you're just doing it for attention, or oh, get out, have a walk, that'll make you feel better. Really. So yeah, I don't have a system. I just do what I can do. I mean, sometimes I find listening to music might help me, because it depends how I feel, because everybody's perception of depression is that something must set you off. Someone must have said something to you, or something's gone wrong, and it's not always. Sometimes I just wake up and I don't feel good, and that's nothing's been said to me. I haven't read any emails, I haven't been anywhere, I haven't done anything. I've done nothing. I've just woken up and I'm not happy, and it lasts for various amounts of time. It could be a day, could be 2 days, could be a week, could be 2 weeks, and yeah, when it comes, sometimes it's really difficult to deal with, and so sometimes I listen to music, and that will help me, and other times I just need to just spend some quiet time and just think, and luckily, since I started talking about my depression and my anxiety, family and people around me will kind of know when I'm not feeling so great, and they won't, because there's nothing worse than people kind of, oh, you all right? What's wrong with you? And that kind of makes it worse, because sometimes you can't really explain, and it's difficult to explain that emptiness inside when you got nothing inside. It's difficult to explain to people that haven't experienced it. It's hard to explain how you can sometimes go to sleep at night and just feel completely empty. It's hard to explain how you can go through a day with the feelings of worthlessness and self-loathing, and just feeling that your whole life is pointless. And it's difficult, and those days are really, really hard. But all I know is that I try my hardest to beat those days, because over the years, I've been to many, many dark places, and I try to now recognise when I'm falling, and the way I explained it, because the first video I ever did on my YouTube channel, and I probably wasn't the greatest video to start a YouTube channel with, was a video about depression, and I just went on for 30 minutes about depression, and I said the only way I can put it in words for people is you kind of feel like you're one leg in a hole, in this big dark hole, and you've got two choices. You either let yourself fall in, or you scratch and you claw to get out of the hole and not let yourself fall. And I kind of always try and choose to scratch and claw and get myself out of the hole. And most of the time now, luckily, you know, I manage it, and it's just, you know, weight is only a small part of the cause of my depression and anxiety. It's not just about my weight, it's a lot of other things. So but obviously the more weight I lose, it will remove that element of the pressure that causes the depression and the anxiety, and that will free me up to deal with the other parts of that. But yeah, so my advice to cope is number one, don't make the mistake that I made. You know, I bottled up my depression and anxiety for 15 years. I probably more. I didn't talk about it. I just cocooned myself in my own little world and just didn't talk about it. But the problem is, then that just kept, you know, it's like a pressure cooker. You know, you can feel it, and it's just bottling and bottling and bottling, and then that's when you get to the point where something's got to give, and that's normally not a good outcome. You know, you can get yourself into a place that you don't really want to be in. So I would say my first advice would be to make sure that you've got someone that you can rely on to talk to. And I've talked to a few people recently on various social media, you know, kind of outlets, and just because I understand the places where they are, and if I can ever lend an ear or a helping hand to someone and just give someone an outlet to talk, you know, if you find yourself in that situation, hit me up. You know, if I can for 10 minutes just distract you and talk to you and try and cheer you up a little bit, but most importantly understand where you are, then that's a good thing. So I would say, firstly, make sure you can talk to someone, you know, a friend, a partner, family, someone. You know, keep the lines of communication open, and let people know how you feel. You know, it's not a sign of weakness. You know, in fact, the fact that I can run two businesses and have a family and still concentrate on losing weight, probably, you know, if you think about it realistically, makes me quite a strong person to be able to deal with all that and still keep a relative amount of sanity. You know, so yeah, I'm not a weak person, and it's not I realise now that it's not a problem to admit that you need help, and that something's troubling you, and that you're not always at your best. But it's difficult, you know. I know it's difficult to just put it out there, and I chose to put it out there via this medium. You know, I went onto Facebook and YouTube and said, hi, you know, I'm Andy, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I need to lose weight, and I've got all these other things wrong with me, and I just threw it out there. And in a way, it's been kind of therapeutic for me, because not only is it kind of given me the channel to talk about it, but it's also given people a channel to talk to me, because they know that I understand. And the thing is, with people that are trying to lose weight, I can empathise with anyone that's trying to lose weight, because I've, you know, gone through the whole spectrum. If you need to lose 6 stone, I know how you feel. If you need to lose 15 stone, I know how you feel. If you need to lose 20 stone, I know how you feel, because I'm in the same place. I'm travelling the same road. I'm in exactly the same spot. I understand how you feel. So that's, you know, that's been a positive thing, and was partly contributed to why I started doing this in the first place, because I wanted to have an outlet to talk about my mental health, and to document my road to not only changing my weight, but changing my life and my mental health. So I wanted to document the whole thing, so it's been good for that. So yeah, I would just say, talk to someone, find something that you can do, you know, whether it's, you know, you might find it good to do jigsaw puzzles or Sudokus or watch a video, a comedy video, or listen to music, or whatever it is that works for you, do that. But take some time when you need it to just switch off and do what it is you need to do to temporarily kind of heal yourself and get you into a better kind of place. But these temporary fixes, you can't just keep falling back on these temporary fixes. There's got to be a long-term solution, whether for you that's medication or whether it's, you know, therapy, whatever it is. You know, again, look for the solution that works for you. I've never taken medication. I've just not gone that route. I've kind of self-medicated, you know, myself with therapy and music and just trying to be positive. But that's not going to work for everybody. So you need to do what's right for you. So, but yeah, that's my advice. Coping with the bad days is just do the best you can. You're not going to be able to cope with every bad day. You know, some of them are going to get away from you, and it's just like I said. Treat every day as it comes. Try and have the best Slimming World day you can today, and then tomorrow, whatever happened today, if you had a good day today, great. If you had a bad day today, get up tomorrow and start again, and try and put today out of your mind, and just work in 1 day chunks, and that's it. You know, just get everything down to bite-sized chunks, which brings me nicely onto the next point. So someone said that a lot of people said that they were struggling with keeping an eye on, you know, or not getting distracted by the big picture, because that makes them struggle. And it's like, I get what you mean, because like I said, I need to lose 24 stone. So if I just constantly kept focused on the fact that I needed to lose 25 stone, that's a huge thing. You know, that's like, wow. And I would just constantly be thinking, I'm never going to do it, because that's such a huge mountain to climb. That's such a huge thing to achieve. I'm never going to do it. So the only way you can do it, if you feel like you're climbing a mountain, the only way to do it is just break it down. Is break it down into small chunks. Break it down into chunks that you find manageable. So set yourself smaller targets, even if it's like a £1 loss, a £2 loss, a £3 loss. Whether you want to get to the half stone, you know, you might need to lose 7 stone, but concentrate on the half. Get yourself to the half. Do everything you can. Have the best in the world days you can to get to that half. And then when you get to the half, concentrate on the 1. When you get to the 1, concentrate on 1.5. When you get to 1.5, concentrate on 2. Just break it down into half stones. I don't worry about the fact that I need to lose 24 stone. I know in the back of my mind that that's how much weight I've got to lose, but I don't think about it every day. So I just think about the next award, or, you know, the other day I did the video saying about my club 10, so I thought about my club 10. So yeah, just break it down into manageable chunks. So focus on an award, a club 10, body magic, a dress size, something. Just break it down into chunks that you think that you can manage, and then that will make the journey, you know, like if you're doing a long journey, say you're driving from London to Scotland, you think, well, I'll drive to kind of like Oxford, and then we'll stop there, we'll have a little break, have a cup of tea or something, and then maybe we'll drive to, like, you know, Leeds or something, and then we'll get out there and we'll have some lunch. And you'll break the journey up, because you don't want to drive for like however many hours to get to Scotland or wherever you're going. If it's far away, you don't want to drive 6, 7, 8, 9 hours constantly, because you're going to get tired and you're going to think, wow, that's a long drive, let's just get a train. So you break the journey up, and you fix places along the way to stop off, and rest stops and coffee breaks and toilet breaks and food breaks, and that breaks the journey up, because you know that along the way, so you only focus on the first point where you're going, then the next point, then the next point, then the next point. So that's what I would say about keeping focused, is just, you know, and not paying attention to the bigger picture, is just cut it down into manageable, you know, chunks that you can deal with, that will keep you focused just on that for the short term. What else have we got? Someone said that they miss bread and they miss mayo. You know you can have those, right? That's what sins are for. So I quite often have mayo. I use the Hellmann's Lighter Than Light, which is half a sin for a level tablespoon. I've done it to myself again. I don't like talking about sins. Let me just get the app. So yeah, I have mayo all the time. I might have I'll still talk to you, but I'm obviously looking at the app. So I have mayo. I'll have a jacket potato with mayo, or if I'm making coleslaw, I like to put mayo into the coleslaw, because the Slimming World coleslaw, don't get me wrong, coleslaw's fine with just yogurt, but I prefer to put a little bit of lighter than light mayo in there to just liven up the taste of the mayo, not the mayo, what I'm talking about, to liven up the taste of the coleslaw a little bit. I think it just makes it taste a bit nicer. Bread, again, you know, obviously you want to try and stay away from white bread, because white bread is not good on the sin front. But yeah, King's Meal, no crust, 3 slices is your B choice, or I think it's 2 sins per slice, so 3 slices are 6 sins. Yeah, there we go. So Hellmann's lighter than light is 1 level tablespoon is half a sin. Just to put that in context with some of the other ones, just the light reduced calorie mayonnaise is 2 sins for the same amount. Sainsbury's lighter mayonnaise for the same amount, 2 sins. So yeah, I think most of them are a little bit more, which is why I choose the lighter than light. I did have some trouble getting it for a while, because there must be a lot of people out there on Slimming World that are going out buying up all this mayonnaise. So but yeah, so you can have mayonnaise and you can have anything. You just got to put it into your sins allowance and know that you're going to have it. So I wouldn't stop yourself from having it if you really enjoy mayonnaise. I mean, obviously, like anything with like sausages, the sausages that we can have on Slimming World aren't going to taste like the sausages that you would used to eat, because they would have been more fat content and more cereal, whatever, whereas obviously the ones that we can eat that are free don't have all that kind of stuff in. But still, look on the bright side, we can eat sausages. So yeah, if you want to have the full fat mayonnaise, or you want to have the proper full on Hellmann's or whatever brand that it is that you like, you can have it, but just you're gonna have to allocate the sins, and don't be afraid of bread. You know, there was a lady in my group actually that said I think maybe once in a while she has a treat, and I think she said that she gets a ciabatta roll, and she knows the sins are X amount, and she loads it up with loads of stuff, you know, like that she can have like ham or chicken or turkey and salad, and so I think she'll also use her cheese allowance, and she just makes this ciabatta sandwich, and that's a little treat for her. But she doesn't want to give up ciabatta, so she didn't give up ciabatta, so she just sins it in, and once in a while she has it as a treat and has this nice big ciabatta roll. So don't be scared to eat the things that you want to eat. That's the whole idea of Slimming World, is don't deprive yourself of anything, because once you get into that deprivation mindset, you'll start going backwards, because then you'll start to resent the plan and think, oh, you know, I can't eat bloody anything on this plan, what's the point? You can eat everything you want, but if it's not free, if it's not speed, you need to put it in your sins and calculate your sins. I eat all kinds of stuff that's, you know, ketchups, sauces, mayonnaise, you know, the things like the chocolate treats, Soleros, choc shots, all that stuff, biscuits. If you know, you've seen me before post pictures on Instagram of the double cheese and bacon burgers, and I give up 9 sins for a brioche roll, but boy, does the burger taste nice with a brioche roll. And I want to keep having that, so I know that if I want that, 9 sins, simple. Right, I think we're running quite a lot of time, so I'll do one more point. I did write some down, let me just have a look at this list over here. Did that one, didn't we? We did that one in the first one. So let's have a look. Eating out. So a lot of people said that it's a problem eating out, so we'll cover this one really quickly. This is just coming down to what we talk about all the time. Eating out comes down to planning. If you go to the back of your book, I think it's in the page 80s kind of region, there is some pages there that talk about takeaways. You can have Indian takeaway, it talks about pizzas, McDonald's, burgers, blah blah blah, so it's got all that stuff. But to be honest, most restaurants now, you can look on their website ahead of time if you know where you're going. Sometimes you may get ambushed. You know, someone might say, oh, we're going to go down and have a Chinese, and you think, that's good, I've already sorted it out. I'll have chicken in black bean sauce, some normal rice, I'm good, my sins are good, happy days. And then you turn up, they go, yeah, we were going to go to Chinese, but only like 3 or 4 people wanted Chinese, so instead we're going to go and have like Mexican. And now you're like, whoa, you know, and you're reeling because you've planned for Chinese, and now suddenly everyone wants to have Mexican. But what I would say is, if you're in a taxi, or you're on the bus, or you're on a train and you're going to the restaurant while everyone's having a chat and a giggle, just get on your phone, say, you know, you can just say to someone, what's this place again? Oh yeah, we're going to, you know, El Burrito. No problem. Look up El Burrito, quickly have a scoot through their thing and have a look through the menu while you're on the way in the back of the cab or whatever, and you can have enough time to get there and not feel ambushed, and then suddenly you're on the spot and everyone's going, what do you want? And you go, oh, you know, I haven't got time to plan this, so I'm just going to have anything. So while you're going to the place, quickly call up their website, look through their thing. You can already then, if you've got the app on your phone, you can quickly start trying to calculate how much everything is. But if you know where you're going, it's really, really simple. Just get on the website, see what they got, make a good choice, and then when you get there, you know exactly what you're going to have. So I think eating out, it can be done. It can be done without blowing your sins out of the water. Just comes down to planning. Everything with Slimming World comes down to good, solid planning. So you can do it. You can go out, you can have fun, you can enjoy yourself, you can go out to all these restaurants. You just got to plan. So yeah, that's part 2 done and dusted, because like I said, these videos can easily get away from you and go on for a long time, so I didn't want to get them on going on for too long. So I'll be back next Sunday with part 3, where we'll just cover the last few points that people wanted to talk about. And yeah, if you are struggling, if there's anything I can help you with, just drop me a message on the bottom of this video, or Instagram or Facebook. All the links are down there, and I will try my best to help you. So that's it. I will see you next Sunday for part 3. Don't forget to check out my column tomorrow on pinchofnom.com, and I'll see you Thursday for my weigh-in day and my results. Looking forward to that, going for the £3 for the 4 stone. So be nice to each other, everybody. Life is always worth living, and until I speak to you again, see ya.